Welcome to a 2v2 on Semoskiy Winter. This game is going to be Simus and Insane Ivan playing as mixed Axis in the west versus Defense of the Autists, and BlackCurrent playing as double Americans in the east. This game is going to see Breakthrough, Luftwaffe, Spec Ops, Close Air Support, Lightning War, Jaeger Armor, Recon Airborne, Infantry, Infantry Airborne, and Armor Company. All available for these players to select. We've got an SWS half-track making its way towards the south. Folks Grenadier support down there. Stern Pioneers taking up a position inside this building. Fighting position going up behind these houses. Two squads of riflemen making their way to engage over here as well. And rear echelon troops are moving to take this victory point and munitions point map, splitting pretty much in half as you'd expect it to. Oberkommando West players setting up something down here. We might see truck placement here, like a battle group, so that he can continue attacking the fuel from that position. And Grenadiers are engaging here in the cemetery. I like this fighting position placement if he can get vision from this house. First of all, he can cover this house with that fighting position, and if he can get a squad of his own into that house, he'll be able to cover the cemetery. But he will be vulnerable to flamethrower or anti-tank infantry placed in either of these houses, so something to keep in mind. Fighting position continues, lobbing grenades at these infantry forces as they cross into this deep snow. This is a terrible engagement to walk into. What are those Grenadiers thinking? That's a lost engagement for sure. 3 squads of riflemen engaging. Folks Grenadier and Stern Pio support did not arrive in time. That squad of riflemen will be forced to retreat, but more reinforcements are arriving from the east. And the north fuel is currently in American control as well, with the fighting position being upgraded with a machine gun to cover the point. And the Axis have not sent a single squad to the north to get those munitions coming in, so the Allies are off to an excellent start here already. I do like this harassment though. Insane Ivan sending 1 squad of Pios to cut off the American fuel in the north. Whether that makes a meaningful difference or not, we'll see. As the Allies still have control of the fuel here in the south, and the Oster, or not Oster, but Axis are stuck with only 12 and 16 fuel coming in. Which is not a good situation to be in. Not sure what he's smiling about. So I wonder if something happened somewhere. I don't know. We're gonna see Mechanized Regiment headquarters built down here. That's kind of a weird decision. I mean, I don't really know why he would build that in such a vulnerable location. He can't reinforce out of it or anything. It will provide repairs to his Kubel, I guess. He's also gone with double Stern Pios, so he has a very repair heavy and capable army. Stern Pios are not doing enough damage to that rifle squad and are probably gonna get wiped. Maybe not. Kubelwagen suppresses that squad, so they should have a somewhat safe retreat path. Maybe. And there they go. Mortar here is firing on the riflemen. They're going to be forced out of the house. Stern Pios are taking control of the strategic point there in the south. Riflemen working on the this area. 2 squads of Grenadiers available over here. Riflemen moving to try and get control of this area back will force full retreats there. Insane Ivan continues to do a lot of harassment with just that lone Pio squad. Rear echelons being deployed to counter. We'll get this cutoff back under control. Need to work on this one next. And finally, the Axis have dedicated a squad to take control of these points here in the north, working on the VP first. Try and get a victory point lead going, if slowly. The munitions under control after that. Meanwhile, American squads have pulled away from the south fuel, feeling sufficient pressure from the Stern Pioneers and Kubelwagen there, and are now going to move to work on the center, try and unseat this machine gun and Grenadiers from the cemetery and church. Lieutenant trying to flank the Kubelwagen will not make it behind it in time, taking huge damage at point blank range. Stern Pios need to be careful about jumping in that building though. It's already close to collapse because of rifle grenades from the rear echelons in that fighting position right there. So this fighting position can hit this house, it can hit the cemetery, it can hit this building. Just goes to show what a powerful position that is. You do, of course, need to protect it from aggressive squads here in these two buildings, but if you can do that, you can get a lot of value out of that placement. I like that. The rear echelon troops inside only have 1 kill. They're well on their way to Vet 1, though, so you can see that they're dealing pretty significant damage there. M20 on the field from BlackCurrent is going to push the Axis back into their base after an engagement for the center. And we've also got Airborne selected by Defense of the Autists, who's fielded 1 squad of Pathfinders. And he does have a lieutenant, but no light vehicles just yet. Pathfinders engaging Pyos, get caught in red cover a little bit and trying to reposition to a slightly safer position. Pyos don't really do particularly good damage to them. Riflemen all over the place, getting suppressed, forced to retreat. The M20 is moving in hard to try to destroy the Kuba wagon. It's taking damage on the ice, though. No, I don't know what's going to happen. M20 could go down. Kuba wagon is destroyed. It's floundering. Main gun destroyed. There it goes. Lots of explosions on the ice here. Nothing sinks. Probably overly aggressive by BlackCurrent, going in without armored skirts on the ice. Gets stuck. Couldn't get traction. But the Kuba wagon has been destroyed, so it's a small victory. Meanwhile, Flak half-track has been fielded and the building is about to collapse. There goes that bazooka squad. He should not have been jumping in that building with barely any health remaining. Loses a full squad due to that decision. Fighting position going up here in the north. Airborne taking control of the victory and munitions points. A 50 cal? Yes, 50 cal here in the south, screening against these Sturm Pyos. Needs to reposition a little bit though. And the Flak half-track's making its way forward. Should have no problem pushing that 50 cal away, regardless of what those Sturm Pyos do. Grenadiers working on the center are taking control of the victory point. Rear echelon troops moving to assist against them as well. And they're going to retreat from rear echelons. I mean, yeah, they were in red cover, but I don't know if they were in that much danger. Flak half-track has set up in the south and will destroy the 50 cal. Probably going to suppress that lieutenant, but Sturm Pioneers retreat just to be safe because they have fallen extremely low. Doesn't want to lose any more manpower in that engagement than he has to. This fighting position still stands, but Folks Grenadiers jump in the house with their Panzerschreck and they're going to start blowing it up. It's taking a little while though. And they will leave the house when they see screening infantry arriving to push him away. Meanwhile, rifle grenades do have range on the cemetery. Rear echelons moving up to provide vision, and will continue firing grenades at various Axis infantry formations here in the center. Getting a lot of value out of that fighting position. It's very cheap, so good fighting position placement can really help the American early game a lot, which is already quite strong. Oster team weapons set up in the center, mortar with MG42 support and grenadier support, trying to fend off a blob of riflemen. They're going to flank around the north end of the church, but they're going kind of slow because of the deep snow up there. That squad's been forced to retreat. Grenadiers will get caught sort of in the open and retreat just to be safe. Lieutenant in the church, riflemen flanking around behind, but there's so much deep snow that flanking is kind of difficult. It's easier to just use smoke and charge straight down the middle, but we don't have grenade research from BlackCurrent right yet. May prove difficult to push team weapons away without smoke on this map. We've got paratroopers dropped here in the north on the munitions point, and rear echelons are setting up barbed wire here on this approach, which is going to give the Allies full control of the north munitions, but they have lost control of the south. Fallschirmjäger working on the victory point. Rakettenwerfer setting up here. Sturm Pioneers looking around for opportunities. We just got promoted. Taking fire! Luftwaffe ground forces has been chosen, as well as Lightning War, so the Axis have both made their pick. BlackCurrent's the only one who has not made a decision yet. And he might want to, by the way. He's floating a ton of manpower. If he goes airborne, he has tons of things to spend manpower on. Armor company, he could spend it on, never mind, he has chosen airborne. And drops himself an AT gun. Interesting decision. 50 cal in this fighting position, firing on those Pyos. They do get pinned. Grenadiers in the house, slowly working on the rear echelons inside, although the mortar's gonna probably kill them first. There they go, forced to retreat. They are killed on the retreat. Ooh, and there goes that fighting position. All the American fighting positions are going to fall. Still one right here protecting the fuel. That one might be able to force a retreat later on. And we will see Pathfinders equipped with bazookas here. Interesting choice. It's kind of fun to see the different weapons people like to throw on their Pathfinders. Pathfinders actually get range increases as they vet up, so that's one of the fun ways in which you can get really long-range bazookas. And they actually become quite accurate, too. So that can be interesting.
There's a major reporting for action.
Pathfinders with paratrooper support will continue to defend the north. Rear echelon of troop harassment will get shut down by 221 here. G43 is upgraded on this squad of grenadiers to try and go for the wipe. And there they go.
Just got a report of an infantry unit being wiped out.
Flak half-track set up here. There's a bazooka next to this building. I didn't even see that earlier. I don't think anybody's noticed that yet because of the default camera angle. That's been there for a while. Ooh, blob of riflemen charging right into a flak half-track. Oh, with AT gun support though, nice play. He's got Vet 1, pop smoke! Where's the smoke? Didn't pop smoke and he loses his half-track. Nice positioning on the AT gun to take that thing out. And the Americans are going to take control of this fuel point once again. Meanwhile, the Oster are trying to get control of this cutoff back. Pathfinders in cover. Thompson upgraded paratroopers standing here waiting to try and ambush something, but for now nothing's going to show up. Oster player continuing to focus almost entirely on the center of the map. Mortar support. Firing on those riflemen. Grenadiers working on this strategic point. Grenadiers working on this strategic point. Allies will be cut off completely from their resources in the north, and the 222 plus flamethrower moving to unseat this infantry. Remember that those Pathfinders do have bazookas though, so they have some defense against this. This engagement could go either way depending on how that works out. They're holding fire. Oh, this is going to be a beautiful ambush. Wow. Both bazooka shots connect. Kind of slow to react to that. Might see one more shot. Oh, they couldn't get it off in time. Thompsons do not move to engage. We'll continue to hold this position for now. 222 pulls back with Pio support to get repaired. And a huge blob of American infantry is making its way to engage down here, but there is a stolen 50 cal to suppress it. 3 squads suppressed immediately, 2 squads moving around the other flank without the flak half-track for this engagement. I don't know if he can hold this line with just these 3 squads. Fallschirmjäger just got deployed somewhere. Right here, out of that shed on the AT gun's flank. Having trouble catching up in the deep snow, though. American squad spreading out to overwhelm this position. Grenade just got tossed on the machine gun, bringing it dangerously low. I don't think that they can hold this line. Sturm Pioneers also falling low in this engagement. They will be forced to retreat or wiped very soon. 50 cal retreats. Get those Sturms out of there. Mortar bombarding this area. Fallschirmjäger on the flank. AT gun will get cleared. These 2 squads also being forced to retreat. Will be pushed out of the engagement. Sturm Pio is retreating. This squad has retreated. There is a forward retreat point set up here in the south, so he actually does have a way to stay in this engagement. If he does get forced off the field initially, needs to get that machine gun set back up and suppress these squads, but they will make it to the green cover position here by the bridge. That mortar's not going to last long. Gets a nice hit off before being forced to retreat though. Jackson moves up into the engagement, supported by this quantity of infantry. May be able to get in position to fire on that truck, and if it's successful in doing that, could push the OKW completely off the map. Ooh, squad wipe by Panzer Grenadiers right there. I'm not sure that engagement was being monitored. Oh. Sherman immediately wipes the Panzer Grenadiers in one shot, though. Ouch. That was painful. Apparently this Sherman's up to 9 kills already. Almost gets 2 squad wipes. Surprised he's not moving to engage right there. Those Grenadiers probably just walked straight into that fighting position 50 cal and retreated a little late, but they are going to get away alive. Fortunately, since that Sherman decided not to continue chasing. And we're going to see the lieutenant move to get this territory back under his control. Center village falling back into Allied control, as well as these forces make their way back into the area. MG-42 being moved to counter now. And over Commando West, looks like he's won the engagement for the south and is sending all of his forces back down here. He has recovered the American AT gun with Fallschirmjäger support. Has a slightly beefier anti-infantry army. Very fragile. He has a lot of firepower here, but he's very brittle. May struggle against riflemen at range. He's going to have to engage very carefully. You can't make a whole lot of mistakes when you're fielding Fallschirmjäger and Sturms as your primary anti-infantry force. Oster setting up team weapons here in the center again with half-track support. Lots of weapons available here. That grenade's not going to do anything. Just reinforce that right back. Pio's moving to repair the weapon itself, I think. Sherman moving up to engage. We'll need to be careful. There's an AT gun on the ice available to support. Lands one of its shots. Grenadiers do not get in Panzerfaust range. The Jackson is hovering in the area in case the Axis field any tanks of their own. He might move up to take shots at the half-track, but other than that, it doesn't have a whole lot to contribute. The north is still in Allied control, held only by these two squads, paratroopers and pathfinders holding the line. Axis have largely given up on that area for now, as fresh team weapons and infantry are being fielded towards the center. AT gun moves to meet up with the half-track here in the middle. Armor-piercing incendiary rounds deployed by this machine gun on infantry behind this green cover wall, inflicting quite a bit of damage. Machine gun's taking more damage in return, though, from those paratrooper LMGs, and I don't know if he's going to be able to out-reinforce this damage. No, not even close. Gun gets cleared. Grenadiers will be next. What are they doing? Standing out in the open like that. Jackson does move up to take shots at the half-track, and it must pull back to a more safe location. Paratroopers, a double vet, full health, moving up into a more aggressive green cover position here. Riflemen moving to support behind. Half-track is in danger, but the Jackson's not giving chase. Mortar and rifle grenade combo. Ouch! Two high explosive weapons land right on that paratrooper squad's head, and they are wiped immediately from full health to dead. Two squads of Sturm Pioneers working to take control of the center VP. Sandbags being constructed down here.
The territory is out of contact.
And an Ostwind is on the field, I think. Or no, Tier 4 structure. Tier 4 structure has been purchased right here to protect the fuel. So until the Allies can get that thing dealt with, this fuel will be very well protected, well defended by the Commando West. The clock is stopped. Allies have a significant victory point lead, but the clock is stopped for now as the OKW has a sort of okay hold here on the south. Sandbag position is being abandoned. I don't even know why he built that then. 50 cal is available, but it's way down here and doesn't even start firing in this engagement until enemy infantry made it up to this green cover wall. Definitely could have positioned some of these team weapons further forward and done better in this engagement, but that Sherman was probably going to win the engagement no matter what happened. Sherman drives straight in, smokes the team weapons, pushes away all infantry. Over Commando West will lose control of the south, and the victory point will fall back into Allied control. The center victory point also in Allied control, although they need to step inside the capture circle. And this Sherman is hovering in the area to counterattack anything that tries go for it. Whoa, Sherman just died?
Medium tank was just lost.
This Sherman died. Went down to Panzerschreck and Raketenwerfer fire, I guess. Oh no, the stolen AT gun killed it. Stolen American AT gun, nicely positioned, takes out the Sherman there in the south. These two squads are going to take control of the munitions and victory points down here. The fuel is still in Axis hands, but it is cut off until they can get this strategic point back under their control. Riflemen taking advantage of some of these sandbag positions that have been constructed, but they're going to get forced away immediately. Can't stand against this sheer quantity of Oberkommando West troops. But the victory points are all in Allied hands. He still hasn't captured this point, though. Somebody needs to capture that. Just doesn't want to leave his position in green cover now, because he's back in an engagement, but he certainly had an opportunity to get that captured. All Allied infantry here in the south must retreat. Sturm Pioneers are not hampered by deep snow. Managed to chase into close range, get a decent amount of damage done to that squad before it retreats, but only 2 models lost. Everything else makes it safely back to the major retreat point while the Oberkommando West takes control of these various territories. Retreat point is set up right here on the road with 1 ambulance. And we've got some fuel caches from the Allies constructed here in the back as well. Try and bolster their fuel economy as much as possible and keep the tank production going. We're going to see a Scott after this Jackson, and we're going to see probably just more Shermans. Yeah, another Sherman there. Despite losing a tank, the Allies still have a pretty scary armored force, and the Axis don't really have anything of their own yet. Insane Ivan, up to 329 fuel. Will be able to field a Tiger very soon. He's got the command points, just needs a little bit more manpower. And Simus probably going to go Panther as soon as he ticks up to 175 fuel right there. So Axis tanks are on their way. Engagement for the center continues to rage. 2 anti-tank guns set up here. Paratroopers get caught out of position and are forced to retreat. It looks like the Oster will win this, although mass bazookas threaten to take out that half-track. The infantry formations will get suppressed, and smoke is deployed by this Sherman. Interesting decision. That's actually going to protect this half-track from further bazooka fire, but the Sherman moving up from the rear may be able to take out that half-track. It decides to fire at the anti-tank gun instead, though, before fully disengaging. Another engagement happening for the south right now. Sturms and Fallschirmjäger get into close range on Allied infantry, taking so much damage. They will be forced to retreat. Fallschirmjäger also taking damage after retreat. And more smoke being deployed by defense of the Autists to make sure that none of those Allied infantry squads go down on retreat. And everything from on both sides will retreat from that engagement. Meanwhile, here in the center, 50 cal just got caught out of position in red cover and goes down so quick. That may get stolen. Although there are LMG paratroopers here to punish them if they try and steal that. That's not going anywhere. Just a couple pios wiped, no real gain. And the victory points are still in Allied control despite fierce engagements all over the map.
Paratroopers ready for action. That's an AT, goddammit!
Anti-tank gun convinces that Sherman to retreat. Tiger on the field now. Should be able to make a dramatic impact against the Allies here. I don't know if there's any mines on the field. I don't even know if anybody made an M20. Yeah, BlackCurrent made 1 M20. It's probably still dead right there, but I don't think it planted any M6 anti-tank mines, so that Tiger should pretty much be free to go where it pleases. Pathfinders available in the north are the only squad protecting those territories. If the Tiger moves with Grenadier support to take control of this area, should be able to get that victory point and munitions under Axis control. And then rotate back towards the center from there. Scott's on the field, bleeding Axis infantry at range. Up to 6 kills already, making a pretty good entrance then. Especially if it's hitting Fallschirmjäger and Sturm Pioneers. Sturm Pios and Grenadiers engaging from their position in green cover here against these LMG paratroopers may or may not be able to perform all that well. Paratroopers falling low. Sturm Pioneers may consider flanking around the south. Don't see a whole lot of flank protection in this area. Major retreat point is set up pretty nearby though. Fuel is going to get cut off again as the lieutenant moves to take control of this strategic point.
Capture point is under attack.
Volksgrenadiers move up and get a free shot off on that Jackson. Tiger is moving with Grenadier support through the north, pushing away those Pathfinders, probably screening away that Sherman and paratroopers, allowing those Grenadiers to take control of the VP, I think. There they go. Sherman decides to move to engage here in the center instead, prompting an immediate retreat from those Sturms. Volksgrenadiers moving up into this green cover position to screen, while Fallschirmjäger attempt to take the center point.
Capture point is being overrun.
Engagement in the south between Lieutenant and Sturmpios as well. Lots of munitions have been saved up here by BlackCurrent. He'll be able to call in a P-47 at some point to attempt to counter the Tiger. Grenade toss on those Sturmpios will force them to retreat. The center victory point does fall into Axis hands, but a large Allied force is on its way to counter now. Mortars generally off target. Fallschirmjäger trying to get to a safe engagement range. Haven't taken any losses yet as the Allies focus on decrewing the stolen AT gun, and they will succeed. No longer vet 1 AT gun. Paratroopers falling low will be forced to retreat as riflemen move into the point to try and capture. Here in the north, paratroopers, will take back control of the North VP as the Tiger has left the area to help in engagements for the center, but it should probably stay up there and try and take out the Sherman and paratroopers. Much scarier to engage here in the center against Jackson. 2 Jacksons, in fact. It's taking huge damage. He would be able to engage so safely in the north. Sherman moving up on the flank with armor-piercing rounds, and there's the P-47. That Tiger exposed itself to harm for too long. It gets blocked. It's so dead. It's so dead. Sherman dies to friendly P-47 fire, I think. But Tiger goes down so quick. Exposed itself to 2 Jacksons. Just massed anti-tank. I don't know what happened to his other Sherman. It was sitting somewhere apparently and is now dead. P-47 firing at the aft track. Not really hitting it though. Pilo's moving up to repair. Axis forces continuing to defend here in the center against those paratroopers moving up across red cover against Vet 3 Fallschirmjäger is not going well for them. That mortar certainly isn't. Oh no. Isn't doing them any favors either. 2 M1919s on the ground to be recovered. It's like Christmas. Needs to get a Volksgrenadier squad up here, or a Grenadier squad, some kind of squad needs to get up here and recover those.
Infantry! Our supply line is cut. Germans are making a push.
2 Jacksons and a Scott available right here, firing away at that tier 4 structure will get rid of it. Axis making a sort of half-hearted push for the north with a couple Grenadier squads.
Infantry!
They'll get suppressed by a 50 cal in the building. Thompson's moving up to chase them away. Without a Tiger, he no longer has a really nice tool with which to attack that area. Chose to engage in the center, accomplished very little before losing it. Wow, Vet 4 on those Fallschirmjäger now, with 28 kills. Pretty impressive. That Volksgrenadier squad does have a bazooka and a Panzerschreck, making it pretty powerful against, not that one. This one, making it pretty powerful against those Scots. It only needs like a volley and a half to kill a Scot with that loadout. The bazooka fires faster than the Panzerschreck, so you can take it down pretty quick. Airborne assault being deployed here on the victory point in the south, try and bolster his forces without spending manpower. Funnel grenade into the building will destroy it. Airborne assault pins the lieutenant right there. Sturm Pioneers moving up to assist in the engagement. Riflemen move to take out that Fallschirmjäger squad, and they will be forced to retreat. Volksgrenadiers trying to move into an effective engagement range should be able to win this, since they are Vet 4 and those riflemen are at very low health. Ooh, big Scott hits right there, force a retreat from that Sturm Pioneer squad. Not really sure what he means.
Gun troop ready.
I don't really know if I feel that Scots are all that cheesy.
Final text.
Honestly, they're pretty unreliable compared to Shermans. And fragile, but they do have a long engagement range, so I guess there's that. They have been tweaked this patch to make them a little bit more consistent, but frankly I feel like it's mostly just a nerf, since they do only 100 damage now rather than 120. But the deep snow certainly does make them annoying to have to close the distance against. And Stuka Close Air Support just got called in on them. If you think Scots are cheesy, I wonder what he thinks about Stuka Close Air Support. Fortunately, the first pass does not connect with anything. Scots continue to fire on these suppressed forces. They really need to get out of that suppression. They're pinned, taking huge damage. Sturm Pioneers moving up on the flank will force the retreat, though. Scots, still available to contribute to the engagement, are up to 17 kills right there, apparently. There's the Stuka Close Air Support second pass, takes out that Jackson. Or just, yeah, Jackson. Second Scott available over here, needs to get clear of the strike zone if possible. Getting everything out of a Stuka Close Air Support strike zone is not exactly easy. Stolen American AT gun gets 2 shots off on that Scott, and it will pop like a balloon. Which just goes to show I don't see what's so cheesy about Scots when they're almost impossible to keep alive, and they didn't even wipe any full squads. Not really sure what your complaint is, Insane Ivan. Just pointing out that that Stolen American AT gun only needed to be in position for less than a second to kill that. Sherman firing at these Sturm Pios is going to bring them down quite quickly. Rakettenwerfer's not quite pointed the right direction, but there is a Bazooka Panzerschreck squad available right here. Counter, protect the flank. Bazooka bounces, Panzerschreck connects, Stolen AT gun moving into position, Rakettenwerfer rotating to fire, Sherman brought down to about half before deploying smoke to escape to safety. Tiger working on the north will force that machine gun to reposition. And that rifle squad will be forced to retreat right there. Lieutenant also forced to retreat. Axis desperately attempting to get territory back. This Tiger working on the north didn't bring any infantry with it. They couldn't get the victory point under control. I definitely think he should work the north, which is largely undefended. If he works the center, he'd probably make progress. There's only one Jackson left alive right now, since the other one was destroyed by Stuka Close Air Support. This paratrooper drop is not going to work very well. We have a late game flak half-track. Interesting choice. Always risky, but if he feels that he can defend the victory point for a while with it, might help them extend the game. Desperately fighting to hold this area while he hopes that his teammate makes progress somewhere else. Clearly he's not contributing anything to the center right now. Doing everything he can just to hold on to the south. Fallschirmjäger move up to fire on the vehicle crew right there, but it will get to safety. And the north victory point has been taken by these grenadiers. King Tiger on the field from the Axis here. With the Tiger and King Tiger on the field, the Americans may struggle in engagements, but they both have access to the P-47, which means that in a climactic final engagement, they could call in 4 planes to fire on those tanks, which is probably going to be just utter chaos when that happens. And they have a lot of time. They have so much time. The Axis only have 33 points to work with right now, trying to win the game with their heavy tanks. North is falling back into Allied hands, sort of. No. Grenadiers still available to support. Those paratroopers will win the engagement for the North, though. Target weak point connects with that Sherman right there. It's destroyed. P-47 just got called in on the King Tiger. Second P-47 also just got called in on the King Tiger. It's taking heavy damage from Jackson fire and must pull back to safety, but I'm pretty sure it's going to die. Now I'm 100% sure it's going to die. It will not get clear of the strike zone in time. 4 planes being called in on it to destroy it. There it goes. The Tiger not quite in either strike zone, fortunately, so the Tiger will be okay. Because they kept their their heavy tanks pretty far away from each other. That one should be alright, but I think this flak half-track might be destroyed. No, it's outside the strike zone too. So the King Tiger goes down to Jackson plus 4 P-47s, but other than that, seems to be alright. This flak half-track's probably going to get a lot of free veterancy from shooting down planes. A lot of veterancy from shooting down those planes. Wow. It's almost bet 3. So, fed a lot of veterancy to those to that flak half-track down there, and it's really nice to have a flak half-track in the late game for that exact reason. I don't think any plane crash is connected with any units, I hope. I'm not sure. But that's why each of those Collins only made one single pass, and that's all it needed, though, to finish off that King Tiger. Folks Grenadiers taking control of the center, may be able to turn this game around. Maybe. They have AA, which is good. Good decision against double airborne to have some AA.
Incoming heavy machine gun fire! We're taking fire! Paratroopers ready. The supply line just got cut off. Under fire!
Fallschirmjäger are now Vet 5 with 33 kills. Very nice usage of the Fallschirmjäger. I also completely agree with Simus's decision to only field 1 squad of them so that he has manpower to spare on other things. Because trying to maintain a full army of Fallschirmjäger is just too expensive. And look at all this veterancy. His unit preservation has been quite good, apparently. So if a comeback's gonna happen, he does have the tools at his disposal. Although it's a shame he lost his King Tiger, that was gonna be the mechanism for a really aggressive comeback. Now they'll have to continue trying to play safe. They do have the stolen AT gun, a really good strong core of vetted infantry. That's gonna have to retreat though. And I wonder if they're gonna try and make a play for the victory point in the north or just bunker down here on these 2. If they try and only hold 2, then they're gonna give the Allies a huge amount of time to make some kind of miracle comeback with armor or something like that. BlackCurrent has a ton of fuel in the bank to continue making tanks if he chooses to do so. Defense of the Autists, not so much. He's been spending his manpower a little bit more efficiently, or his fuel a little bit more efficiently, by about 100. So not that big of a difference, about 1 tank's worth. Sherman and Jackson engaging here in the north need to be careful about the anti-tank gun and Tiger in the area, deploying smoke just to be safe. Here in the south, a Sherman getting very aggressive against that flak half-track. Pop smoke! Apparently he didn't need to pop smoke, and he kills a Sherman and a Vet 3 squad of airborne. Wow. I'm amazed that that flak half-track survived without popping smoke right there. He got a little bit lucky that his anti-tank infantry fired just in the nick of time.
Send your orders.
I don't know if I think that's true. I don't think that this build is forgiving at all. In fact, this might be one of the most punishing builds Ober Commando West can do. Fallschirmjäger and Sturmpyos and flak half-tracks as your anti-infantry core is actually not very forgiving. If you lose any of those full squads, you're in a lot of trouble. I don't know if I think Double American is insane. I just don't know if I think either of these teams is really in a position to complain about balance this game. I don't know. I feel like some of the words, some of the arguments being tossed out are a little emotional. Not sure what I think about that. Some mines getting placed here in the road. 50 cal set up right there. Sherman making its way across the ice. BlackCurrent just queued up 2 Scots and some paratroopers. That's true, Ivan is insane, so we can't we can't take anything he says too seriously.
Enemy fire! Enemy fire!
Looks like the Axis have no real intention of working the north, which is a shame because this isn't exactly a huge defense. There's a Tiger on the field. I mean, that Tiger could definitely work the north if you felt confident that this force could maintain a hold on the center. 2 AT guns, Vet 3 mortar, Grenadiers, machine gun. I think that could hold a pretty significant sized pushback while the Tiger works the north with maybe 1 squad of infantry. Nice mine placement right there. That was a huge mine. Sherman's in a lot of trouble if any anti-tank weaponry moves up to finish that off. This AT gun has range, but he's not utilizing attack ground. He needs to attack ground that thing. He's got vision. It's now just firing at that Sherman at range. Raketenwerfer could easily destroy that. What is he waiting for? Killing that Sherman. He needs to finish the job. Maybe he can't see it through the fog of war at this range. I'm pretty sure he can. The stern pile's right there. Raketenwerfer just retreated. Folks Grenadiers engaging this Sherman here in the south. That stolen AT gun is just wrecking these Shermans so hard. Look at this. Even with main gun destroyed, it doesn't matter. There they go. They dropped their Panzerschreck. Folks Grenadiers won't be able to recover that. They're already full on weapon slots. What was that? Mine just wiped another squad right there, I think, of some kind. I'm not sure what squad that was. Sturms are providing vision. This AT gun needs to rotate and fire on that thing, but it's taking heavy damage from Scots at long range. He can shoot through these hedges. He doesn't have to overextend it if he doesn't want to. Either way, that's probably a dead Sherman. Could just get vision. Fallschirmjäger moving up to engage here in the center. They will get suppressed by the 50 cal, however. Ooh, Scott nails those Stern Pioneers right there. That's a shame to lose that Vet 2 AT gun. Having take aim, having just the inherent bonuses from Vet 2, it's really powerful. I mean, we saw the huge damage that just got inflicted on those Shermans by it. 2 Shermans destroyed. He will be able to recover it, I think. May not want to do so with Fallschirmjäger, though. Meanwhile, the north is finally being worked on by Grenadiers. Nice play, trying to get that taken. Where did those paras go? There were Vet 3 Thompson paratroopers up here. I don't know what happened to them. Looks like they're dead. Yeah, the squad's been wiped. I don't know where they went. They died to something. Maybe just those 2 Grenadier squads, because the Tiger hasn't moved an inch. Scots bombarding from distance. AT gun moves up to try to assist. Fallschirmjäger and Grenadiers screening. Folks Grenadiers screening. Scots not hitting a thing. Raketenwerfer moving up as well to support.
Tank support is here. Sherman ready.
I mean, those Scots have been pounding away at his Folks Grenadiers for like all day long. In fact, he's so not bothered by the Scot that he's going to salvage a tank under Scot fire. That's how little he's concerned. I'm just saying. Just saying. Folks Grenadiers working on the fuel point right there. These 2 squads making their way to assist in engagements here. And a second King Tiger has actually made its way onto the battlefield somehow. They've managed to hold on to these victory points long enough to get a second King Tiger out. 423 fuel in the bank for the Oster player. He's so pop-capped he can't even get another Tiger on the field.
The enemy is reduced to 300 points.
Stuka close air support just got called in on something. Oh my god! Wow! Oh, that Stuka close air support! Wow, that was devastating! Did you see that? That was how many squads just died right there, plus the ambulance. I don't even want to know what that just did. Jeez. And this guy's complaining that double Americans is too strong.
One of our fighting positions is sustaining fire.
Jaw, 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 jaw. Oh man, Sherman just sniped the gun. That's why you gotta repair your team weapons. Repair your team weapons. You can avoid that. He's got 2 Vet 5 squads of Sturm Pioneers. That's his own fault. Super close air support makes another pass and kills the Major. just to be rude. P-47 called in on the King Tiger. Second P-47 also called in on the on the King Tiger. Plane crashes on the Folks Grenadier squad. King Tiger desperately trying to get out of the strike zone. There's the end of one of the strike zones. The other one ends like way somewhere else. I don't even know. Jackson goes down, gets too aggressive and is destroyed. This Jackson tries to finish the job, having some pathing difficulties though. Trying to get through that stream. A T-gun needs to move up to support. P-47 called in, will finish off that King Tiger. And another plane crashes. Oh, it won't really connect with anything, fortunately. It's just a matter of time before that one gets shot down too. That is a Vet 4 flak half track. Really? You're complaining about the P-47? Did you see the Stuka Close Air Support over here? Stuka Close Air Support is cheaper. And it's like even worse. I mean, it just seems a little hypocritical to complain about the P-47 when you're using Stuka Close Air Support, which is the same ability but better and cheaper. I mean, I get it. King Tiger died. I'm just pointing out that it's a little weird to complain about the P-47 in a game where Stuka Close Air Support just killed like the whole American army over here. Seems just a little weird. Ooh, that was a nice Scott hit. These Folks Grenadiers are going to be forced to retreat right there. Allies are struggling though. They have completely lost the entire map. Pathfinders camouflaged in the point. These 2 Scots have moved up into close range. The question is, can the Americans... Which one? Something that Tiger. Okay, will do. Will do. I will move that into the fast lane. Thank you for your kind words. I'm glad that you like the cast. And thank you so much for your $10 donation. But yeah, it doesn't look too good for the Allies here in the south. Running on fumes, honestly. They're down to basically no infantry left at all. Trying to just keep producing armor, but their fuel reserves are mostly exhausted. Their munitions reserves are completely exhausted. No more P-47s are going to hit this battlefield. I feel like the Tiger could be a little more aggressive. I don't know why he's not like trading a little more aggressively here, because he's got the resources for a whole nother Tiger in the bank already. And most of his army is sitting AFK. Just extremely light defense of the north. With a stolen 50 cal. Heavy defense here in the center, which is of course important. Not really providing a whole lot of support for his teammate there in the south though, and he clearly needs it. He's kind of struggling to handle the Scots there. He's still got a huge, beautiful Vet 5 army, but you can tell he's getting pushed off the VP. And he's fielding himself a Jagdpanzer. I like the decision to go Jagdpanzer. Killing King Tigers with mass P-47 spam might be sustainable because of how slow they are to produce. It won't be sustainable against the Jagdpanzer though. It's more mobile. It only takes 2 shots to kill a Scot. It's got longer range. Definitely makes sense against this. Vehicles only strat at this point. Needs to pull back to safety. Tiger just blasted a squad here in the center of some kind. This 50 cals can't even get past the bunker right outside of this base. That Tiger's not even moved. Oh yes it has, it just moved up and fired at that squad. squad right there. Still, be a little more active, a little more aggressive with that thing. Anti-tank guns will take out that Sherman. They're not really committing to a push. Sort of hesitantly engaging at maximum range is not the right way to use American tanks because you just lose one and then pull back. You need to go all in. No half measures. If they went all in with this force, they would have lost. I'm not saying that they would have won if they went all in. I'm just saying that losing that Sherman like that doesn't really accomplish anything either. Allies just need to get a victory point under their control for a little while, but they're not going to succeed in taking the center. They clearly need to work the top, which has no defenses at all. But if they dedicate too many forces to that push, they will almost certainly lose the south, which is already a lot of danger from that Jagdpanzer. Fallschirmjäger moving to support and give vision. Sturm Pioneers, more Fallschirmjäger, more Volksgrenadiers moving to support as well. Squad there in the center takes a little damage. Grenadiers moving to take control of the right side strategic point. Strategic point right there also being taken. Pathfinders get wiped by Vet 5 Sturms, but they also get wiped under sustained Scott fire, finally. 13 kills between the two of these things. Anti-tank gun moves up. It does not have take aim activated. If he would just throw that ability on there, he'd be able to fire at those Scots from such a long range. The Jagdpanzer moving up aggressively with supporting infantry. Jackson's leading the charge. What are those Jacksons doing? They're going to take Panzerfausts and they're going to die. They're trying to crush infantry. The Jackson might be the worst infantry crushing tool in the game, honestly. There's one Panzerfaust. And that thing gets killed so quick by Jagdpanzer and AT gunfire. That squad has to retreat after the Sherman moves up for a crush maneuver. Panzerfaust will be off cooldown soon. Apparently it does not matter though. GG well played being exchanged. I think the Allies have given up. BlackCurrent's getting mad at his teammate now. Blame your teammate. Blaming your teammate's always a good strategy. Works for me every time. Makes me feel much better. Stupid close air support is gonna nail that vehicle crew like any second. Or it'll just destroy the tank. That might also happen. There's some pretty deep discussion happening. I don't even have to say anything. This is some serious stuff. Double airborne is a mistake. I agree. I think infantry company is a must as WS forces. I am a firm believer that you need the priest, especially in team games. I mean, double P-47 did good work, but like still lost. Still lost with 26 points left on the board. Having no artillery really hurts. And there you have it. That's the game. Not sure what I think exactly the Allies could have done better. I mean, they had a really strong opening. Having a priest would have been nice, but really they just needed to engage a little bit better. Felt like the Scots didn't perform that well, and a lot of Allied tanks went down needlessly. And losing your tanks, you can, as Allies, it's a little more forgiving. You can lose one medium tank here and there. If it's a really long game, maybe you can lose just a ton of them. 54-minute game, you could probably lose a couple tanks and still be able to win. Insane Ivan didn't trade nearly aggressively enough. He just kind of sat idle. Even, I mean, after a certain point, when you have 800 fuel in the bank, you can kind of you can be a little more aggressive with your army, try and trade. More airborne assault could have been good. He had 750 munitions in the bank. Defense of the Autists has 1,400 manpower by the end of this game. So all players, I mean, it's hard. In a 54-minute game, your nerves get really frayed. You're probably frustrated. Who knows how many bad squad wipes you've had in a game that long of COH2. But you got to keep those resources down. You got to keep up the pressure. And just just keep pushing, keep spending your resources, keep going for victory points, try and steal the game. Allies struggled there by the end of it. Just couldn't keep up for territory, really. Came down to map control. They ran out of fuel and munitions to use on their P-47s and tanks, and then from that point there was nothing they could do. GG. Axis wins.